tonight?
Well, I mean, they're one of the best teams in the league for a reason. They play the right way. They play hard. They come wave after wave after wave, and they've been like that for the last couple of seasons for a reason. So you can't go to sleep against them at any time.
Considering what happened last time with Marchand and Hillegren, how do you expect that to influence tonight's game?
I mean, it's going to be a physical game either way. I think obviously we lost in their building last time we were there, and what happened. But I think it's this has been a rivalry for a reason, and I think it's going to be a high intensity game.
How did you assess how the team has kind of changed since that game in terms of defending each other? It feels like there's been some feistiness lately. How would you chart the evolution there?
Yeah, I think with new faces coming in, I think there's going to be a learning curve. But we've addressed it over the last couple of weeks, and especially right after that happened. And I think a lot of different guys have stepped up, and it just seems to be a full team effort up and down the ice.
What's the key against a guy like Marchand?
Well, he's not going to fight you. That's for sure. You just got to play him hard. I think. You can try and bait him into whatever, but you got to make sure that you're doing it smartly. You can't take penalties because he's not a guy that's going to drop his gloves and he'll try and bait you in and make you take something stupid. And their power play is dangerous, and I think that's where he thrives. So you got to be smart, but you just got to play hard.
What's the verbal battle like? Because obviously he's got a reputation as being a guy who likes that. You do as well. And what's that like? The verbal warfare aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's always some chirping back and forth. He likes telling me he makes a lot more than I do. Doesn't really bother me. So a lot of players make a lot more than I do. So it's not really a good one, but it just happens in the heat of the moment usually.
How much do you get up for a game like this? Rivalry, everything that's going on. How much is this in your wheelhouse?
Yeah, these are fun. These are the ones that I look forward to for sure. And coming back in the lineup, I think. Hopefully our line can put a physical, offensive game forward here.
Boston, what sort of game are you expecting tonight?
Well, obviously a divisional matchup and a rivalry that's obviously been in the league for a long time. So always competitive games. Two good teams going at it. So excited about the opportunity tonight.
John, sorry, there's always respect for the Bruins, of course, but a little more this year given the retirements of Bergeron and Krejci, what they're able to keep doing.
I mean, yes and no. Obviously, you lose two, cornerstone players, and what those guys accomplished in their career, and what they did there in Boston. There's no doubt those are big holes to fill, but obviously they just play such a strong team game in so many different areas that it's also not surprising just the way they, continue year after year to be just a difficult team to play against and find themselves where they do in the standings. So. Yes and no, but obviously they've shown, how they're still one of the top clubs in the league and the level you got to be at, to get the result you want.
John, there was a lot of talk about standing up for each other after that last game against Boston the last month. How have you seen the team grow in that kind of department?
Yeah, I think no question that's been there. So it's something that obviously we will focus on and continue to grow and know the importance of it. So but first and foremost, go out there and competing and playing between the whistles and doing what we need to do to get the result we want.
Brian Marchand feels like a really unique kind of opponent with what he can do in so many different ways. What's the key against him?
Well, you want to just make it a difficult night for him, limit time and space. Don't let him kind of get feeling it out there, feeling the puck and making plays and doing what he does well and making sure that you understand the dynamic of playing between the whistles and also standing your ground when needed to. So I don't think getting caught up in it, but just go out there and competing hard and making a difficult night, when the game's going on.
John, you're closing in on 1,000 points now, testament to skill and longevity. What does it mean to you in the context of career?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not there yet, so it's hard to really say. But no doubt, I think anyone that's got there, coming into the league or when I was growing up watching players and guys that accomplished that milestone, obviously really significant, really impressive. So just trying to put my head down and keep going to work and playing well and let that happen when it happens. But no doubt, I think it's a special milestone. So keep plugging away here.
What did you make of what Mitch was able to accomplish inside the fishbowl the other night?
Yeah, I think probably a good reason why it's still on today. So yeah, it was a great night for him. You know, just the way when the puck follows him like that, and obviously he gets feeling it, and you know, his ability to, you know, usually setting other guys up and his ability to find the open man. But he's shown over his time his ability to be a finisher as well. Did it in a few different ways, so great to see. Really happy for him, and came through big time for us.
I think anytime Toronto plays against Boston, it's always it's a great rivalry game and good for our sport, good for our game, and looking forward to be a part of it.
There's a lot of talk about standing up for each other after what happened against Boston last time. How have you seen the growth for this group in that department over the last month?
I think from day one we've had that, so yeah, no different tonight.
What's the key to dealing with Brad Marchand?
He's a heck of a hockey player. Obviously, been around for a long time, been a superstar in this league for a long time, so you got to have a lot of respect for what he's done and what he continues to do, and definitely someone you got to be aware about there. Both him and Pasternak are all world talent, and you got to be ready to go.
He's got a reputation as being a guy who likes to talk. Like, what's the verbal warfare out there over the years? Obviously, you've been on the Montreal-Boston side of it too. Like, you've dealt with him a lot. What's that like?
We're just trying to win tonight. Nothing else really matters. So he's a big part of their team, and you got to be aware of when he's on the ice. Obviously, like I said, and yeah, big piece. So just strong awareness of when he's on the ice and what he's doing out there for sure.
There's been a lot of talk about wins, regulation wins, or whatever. What's the key to closing out games?
Win's a win, man. 2 points is 2 points as far as I'm concerned. So just got to keep chugging along here and moving in the right direction.
What do you make of what Mitch was able to accomplish inside that fishbowl the other night?
Pretty impressive, right? No, he was outstanding. I mean, that's the Mitch Marner everyone knows, and it's good to see. He's having fun out there. He's moving his feet. He's making a lot of plays, and making everyone else better. So, huge part of our squad, and hopefully he can keep building on what he did last night.
What do you learn about Joe Wall in your time here so far?
Yeah, I think everyone knows how good of a goalie he is, how calm and his demeanor that he has. He's a special player, so we're very lucky to have him, and he seems to get better every single day, and that's what you want.
What sort of game are you expecting in this one tonight?
Well, I'm expecting a physical one. I'm expecting we're going to get the best out of us and them. So I'm pretty excited to play in this game. I know it's a Saturday night hockey, a Provincial 6 rivalry team, so I'm excited playing it.
No worries. What's the key against a guy like Brad Marchand?
I think just be aware that he's on the ice. I think he's a very effective player with and without the puck. So just know he's out there, and as well as their whole lineup, they got tons of skills. So we just got to manage that and take control of that.
Since you've been up here, what have you noticed about the feistiness, the kind of sticking togetherness when things get a little chippy in the games?
Oh, it's great. I know Max stood up for me there too, and it's great to see that. Like, he's a skilled guy, and for him to step up for me is great to see. A bunch of the guys stepping up for each other, not taking any crap, and it's good to see.
What stands out to you the most about Ryan Reaves?
He's a great guy in the locker room, first of all. He's a great guy. I love being around him. And as far as a player, he's a big body. He knows who he is and what his strengths are. And I think when he brings his strengths, he brings the best out of himself, and he gives us a lot of energy. And it's good to have him in the lineup.
Where do you feel like your game's at?
That's good. I think this is part of the things I got to deal with, trying to be consistent, away from the stat sheet and stuff, and trying to be happy with my game away from it, which I am. And I just want to keep plugging away and do everything I can to be consistent in the lineup and help my line mates.
In your time up, has this been the longest you've been on one line?
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean for you in terms of just consistency?
It's great. I think last year, I didn't know how many games I had straight, but to play with the same line and not be in and out of lineup, it helps a lot, especially mentally too, knowing that the coach is trustworthy of that line again for the next night. So it's exciting. I like to be with the same line mates, and I think they are too. So it just gives you rhythm. It gives you time to get chemistry with them.
Thank you. What's the challenge with the Bruins tonight?
It's a very good team. The bigger challenge is us against ourselves. So that's the focus for us, is continuing to build our game.
Sheldon, do you expect any extra emotions with what happened a month ago in Boston, or is there any carryover at all?
I don't think you can get extra emotion into a game like this. I think we recognize we're playing against a very good team that's going to demand everything from us, everything that we have. So that's what we're preparing for.
think they'd be able to not only hold their heads above water, but really be successful, so all go through retirements that they had over the summer?
Well, at first, their decor basically has remained the same. The goaltending has remained the same, and that was really the foundation of their team. And then, they got great leadership throughout. They still got great veterans and guys that have come in and done a good job for them. So we shouldn't be surprised. I mean, they've been hanging around and being an elite team for well over a decade here now. So credit to them. Yet we'll give them respect and prepare as such, but get out and get on the attack and play against them.
A lot of times with a lack of response last time, how have you seen the team grow in that sort of aspect of sticking up for each other?
Yeah, I think I talked about it a lot then. I think we've grown a lot in that area. I think that particular incident probably got more attention than it deserved, quite frankly. But over the years, we've addressed those situations fine at times maybe not. But I know everybody in here watches just our team for the most part, but you turn on your TV and there's a lot of teams in the league that don't blow up and sell the farm on every single time somebody gets hit. You got to play hockey too. Like I said, this is a team that commands a lot from you, and you got to give everything you have between the whistles to play well and put your attention first and foremost there. But I think our group's done a good job of sticking together, and that was a bit of a wake-up call for us, no question in that area, just staying diligent with it. But that's the least of my focus, at least of my worries going into a game like this tonight.
Austin hasn't been quite as productive over the last stretch here, but where are you at with his game on the whole? Are you still seeing him do the things he needs to do to get chances?
No, he's going to do better in that area, and that's just it. Don't focus on the end result and get concerned with anything other than doing the things that allow you to have success individually and for us as a team, most importantly. Austin's a driver for our team. When he's going, we're going. It's usually the case. So like our overall team game and structure, the consistency in which we execute, we need Austin to drive in those areas. And if that happens, whether he scores or not, we're going to be in a really good place to control play and have a chance to win the game.
Brad had suggested at the beginning of the week that you probably would know by the end of the week more on John Klingberg's status. Any update on him at all?
I've got nothing for you there, no.
What's your sense of William coming off Sweden? Obviously, there was so much focus on him, and I'm sure it was an emotional homecoming. Has there been a dip at all with him, or what's your sense of him since he's come back?
Yeah, I think there's been a little bit of a dip for a lot of us. I don't know. If in Chicago, if the puck doesn't hit all three posts, we win that game, and he's a hero again in overtime, and who knows? So I think, when things don't go your way for a little bit, you start to question everything. So is it Sweden? Is it everything coming off the high? I don't know. I'm just hopeful we're going to get a response today, and typically Boston brings out the best in us.
What do you think has allowed the penalty kill to come around last couple?
I think we've clearly put a lot of time on it, but I think we've had more consistency with whether it's our forwards and the pairs in which we've rolled out. And when you have more consistency there, it's easier to have more accountability and all of that with it. And then I think guys coming in, I think Benoit and Lagesson have done a really good job of helping us on the back end as well. So if D-men, have injuries, take penalties, if our D take penalties, then we're not as short as we've been in the past, and we have more depth there. Obviously, Dean spent a lot of time in sorting that out and working with it. We've committed both practice and video time, team time to it, and the players have responded.
Joseph's played in a few games in a row now. How do you feel he's done, and how important is tonight's start given the divisional consequences?
Yeah, he's done great, obviously, which is why you continue with him. I had come into this looking when we were sort of in Sweden and definitely coming back from Sweden. You're looking ahead to this segment of the schedule at home, somewhat of a playoff type of rhythm where you're going every second day. I had looked at it as we would probably end up going with one guy. Through this, didn't quite know who that would be, but Waller had, to me, played really well in Pittsburgh, and so we gave him the nod to start the week, and he hasn't looked back. So it's a great sign for him, great sign for us. But yeah, it's a team on the other end that doesn't give up very much, whether it's their team structure and defense or their goaltenders. So, you know, it's a great opportunity for him tonight to meet that head on.
What have you seen from William Lagesson, especially after last game where he was on the second pair?
He's just done a good job. He's really minimized mistakes. You know, he's played a fairly simple game, but he's played hard. He's gotten in the way. You know, with both he and Benoit, we've got two guys that have come in that got good size, very competitive, and have minimized mistakes, as I've said, whether it's 5-on-5 or penalty kill. Those guys have really helped us. That's been a really good development for us in this. I don't think either guy had a great training camp or preseason with us as they were adjusting, coming through to a new organization and all of that sort of stuff. But Benoit, with the injury that he had, both guys, since being called upon here, have helped us and given us good minutes.
Who was the most Marchand-like guy you played against?
Oh, God, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you. And I don't know. He's a pretty unique individual.
What's the key to handling him? Like,
I'm sorry?
What's the key to dealing with him? He's so unique, right? Ryan was saying he likes to beat you into penalties. He can also score. Like, I mean, how do you approach him?
You just got to play hard against him. You got to not get preoccupied with things that don't matter, and focus on the things that do, because he's such a high quality player that he can hurt you in a lot of different ways, and also I think he helps drive the rest of their team, because you get overconsumed with whatever he's got going on, and then you know, all of a sudden Pasternak's is running free and doing his thing. So we just got to remain focused on our game, most importantly here. No matter who we're playing, what the team is, if our game's in order, I think we've got a really good opportunity to compete against anybody in the league. We've done a good job against teams that have been above us in the standings for the most part through the season, and today we're going to need more of that.